Good morning, guys. It is Tuesday, July 2nd, 2024. This is Bathrobe business. I got the coffee and I got the news. So let's jump into it. So there's a couple news stories I want to share with you guys. There's a lot happening with EVs, and there's some interesting things happening with real estate in Manhattan. So I'll probably start with the Manhattan story first. Uh, so there's two different stories, one from Bloomberg and one from CNBC. So let's look at the Bloomberg story first. In fact, let me blow it up so you guys can see it a little bit better. So, according to Bloomberg, New York City apartments shortage is getting worse, and prices are skyrocketing. So the link to this article is down below, but essentially it's saying that rental vacancy is at an all-time low. The cost of living keeps increasing. New buildings are not going up quick enough. There is a lack of supply of housing, et cetera, that this is an apocalypse for New York because no one can afford it and only the wealthy can live there. Now, let's switch to CNBC. According to CNBC, it's the exact opposite. So Manhattan is now a buyer's market as real estate prices fall and inventories rise. So according to this, New York City prices are actually down 3%. And the median price for a $1.2 million apartment has fallen to 2%. So it's a buyer's market. So it's the exact opposite of what Bloomberg is saying. Now, what I think is going on after reading both of these articles is actually they're both sharing the same information. New York is in a problem because, like everywhere else, the cost of living is going up. Cost of living is a problem everywhere. And for medium prices, for people that can actually afford apartments in New York, there isn't enough supply. People can't afford to live there. However, if you're wealthy enough to own an apartment that's 1.2 million, then you're probably in a buyer's market. You're probably doing fine because there is some price decline. However, this CNBC article is a bit of a puff piece, right? I mean, a 3% decline isn't massive. And to call that a buyer's market is kind of ridiculous when that could be just the regular ebbs and flows of any market. So I would say that I kind of side with the Bloomberg article by every point, from the starter of the fact that most people can't afford to afford housing in New York because the prices are too high. There isn't enough affordable housing being built. And even among those that are wealthy enough to buy these luxury apartments, the price decline isn't that drastic. So this kind of illustrates the point I love to drive home, that interest rates need to remain higher for longer. We should be talking about interest rates rises, not cuts, because clearly, even in a place like New York, where there's so many people, so much activity, so much going on, where the market moves so much quicker than everywhere else in the country, prices aren't really falling. And this is reflected across the board, right? Car sales. There was another article that isn't in this in this roster that I'm going to talk about today, but car sales are still all-time highs. The car prices are not dropping. Cars are moving very quickly, despite the fact that interest and finance costs are so high. People are still buying cars at exponential rates. So the economy is not slowing in any measurable way. We talked about shipping. We talked about exports. We talked about imports. We talked about transportation nationwide. There is no change in the supply. There is no downward trend. Quite the opposite. Everything is moving at higher capacity. So there's no reason to be cutting into this market. We need to remain higher for longer. Now, next story I'm going to talk about real quick is EVs. So Tesla is really facing kind of a bad situation. So they are under delivering again. So I'm going to be sharing this article with you right here. We're going to ignore the video. You can watch it. Again, all the links to these articles are down in the description below, so you can go back and watch these. This is from Yahoo Finance. Tesla China shipments expected to slump for the fourth quarter in 2024. So they're down substantially, approximately, I believe, 5.8% from a year ago. Whereas other companies, we're not even going to talk about BYD, who is the all-time leader. We're talking about some of the smaller brands. Zeekr and NIO record deliveries in June. So these same car manufacturers in China are over-delivering, whereas Tesla is slumping. And this is something that Tesla desperately needs because one of their fastest growths is the Chinese market. So they're not growing in the United States for sure. We've seen their sales declines here, and that seems to be reflected here in China as well. Last story I'm going to talk about. This one's kind of interesting. So this is just the decisions of Gen Z buyers. So Gen Z shopping decisions are heavily driven by TikTok and influencer. This isn't necessarily a surprise, right? We kind of intuitively know this stuff, but sometimes we need a little article to kind of put everything into frame. So Lots of Gen Z buyers are buying mainly through online purchases, but not through traditional means like Amazon, etc. They're going to TikTok, they're going to Shein, they're going to a lot of these new influencer marketing type of sales, and I think that's makes a lot of sense. So this is just kind of like one of those things that I throw out there as business advice. If you can model your brand to be driven towards an influencer market, towards a merchandise market where it's easily purchased, something like a TikTok shop, you're probably going to do very well because things go viral very easily on TikTok. If you've ever posted a TikTok video, I could post a video on Facebook or Instagram for our business, and it'll just sit there for months, weeks, years, do nothing. I can post one thing on our TikTok, and all of a sudden, in 30 seconds, it has 1,000 views. And we're in dental. It's not that exciting of an industry. So if you do have a brand, you can actually do very well with a little bit of promotion and a little bit of proper influencer marketing, and you can do very well. Now, I'm simplifying the scenario. Obviously, no business is so easy to run, but I'm just saying that TikTok algorithms work very well for virality. I would say it's closer to Twitter as far as its viral potentials than it is than any other platform. Whereas any other platform is very much driven by what is your base, how many views do you normally get, what's your audience, etc. That's pretty much it. That's the stories of the day. Nothing too crazy. I'll see you guys back here tomorrow. I hope you have a productive day, and I'll see you in the morning.